Hi folks and welcome to today's video, the best L4, L5 decompression stretch. Now, I do make a lot of great content for those folks out there suffering with low back pain issues, such as sciatica nerve pain, bulging discs, herniated discs, lumbar arthritis, many low back conditions. If that's you, hit that subscribe button. You'll be notified when I upload some great content to get you back on the road to recovery. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. So folks, today I'm going to show you an L4, L5 decompression stretch. One I think is one of the best decompression stretches you can do for that area. Now, however, before we start, a very important announcement for you all. If you are suffering from low back pain issues, sciatica nerve pain, lumbar arthritis, herniated bulging discs, subscribe now. Hit that subscribe button. Why? I'm going to be making an announcement on January the 22nd, it's about 8 days from now, on the channel, which could change your pain situation for the better. In fact, a lot, okay? And I'm going to announce it to all my subscribers on that date, on Monday the 22nd. So hit that subscription button now, and you'll be notified on that day of my upcoming news, just for you, okay? However, onto the stretch, okay? So, why are we going to do L4, L5 decompression? So, people who suffer from bulging discs, herniated discs, sciatica nerve pain, quite often the root cause is a bulging herniated disc at the L4, L5 or L5S1 region. Now L5S1, excuse me, is the very base of the spine there. That's where most herniations happen. The second level though is L4, L5. A few weeks ago, I did a specific decompression stretch for that region. If that is your area, that video is going to pop up at the end of this one, okay? This stretch today will also bring you some benefit, but there is a targeted one for that area as well, which will pop up at the end of this video. Now, why does decompression work help? Well, decompression work, as the name suggests, helps to decompress the spine. It helps the disc basically take in nutrients, take inflammatory material away from the disc, helps the general healing process. And in the research, the inference is that decompression work does help relieve pain, relieve sciatica, relieve disc damaged disc issues, degenerative disc disease, arthritis. I've got a couple of clients I'm working with right now. One lady's had amazing success with the arthritis that she suffered from, wasn't able to sit. She was able to sit down for her Christmas meal using some of these stretches. Another chap that I'm working with, he also was out of pain after a few weeks of doing these types of stretches. So they do have amazing benefits for people who do suffer from problems. Now, this particular decompression stretch is for the L4, L5 region. Now, there is what's called passive decompression. That's where you hang. People have asked me that question about where you hang off a bar or you hang off the back of, the back of a couch or something, and the weight of the body will decompress the spine. Nothing wrong with that. However, what I'm going to show you today is very targeted. Now, for this decompression to take place, we do need active forces. Now, the particular stretch I'm going to do is called an L-Doigt stretch. I cannot take credit for creating this stretch. It is a man called Dr. Guy Voyer, a very famous French osteopath. I trained under him many years ago, and he taught me this whole system of spinal decompression stretching, which he named L-Doigt. So credit goes out to him for this amazing work. Now, for these stretches to actually work, we need opposing forces. So if I'm going to try to decompress my elbow, okay, and I just pull all in one way, the whole arm will move. Pull the other way, the whole arm moves. I would need to pull, stabilize this point here at my elbow, and then to pull this way and pull this at the same time, and that would create the decompression at the elbow. It's the same situation with these stretches. We create opposite tension to create a targeted spot on the spine where we will actively decompress. Not by a lot, we're talking millimeters here, you're not going to suddenly gain a couple inches in height, okay? Very small, but it is enough to bring benefit, all right? So I'm going to talk about the setup for the stretch first, then I'm going to talk you through the actual process of doing the stretch. And I'm going to use this here as a little crutch later on. So, basic setup for the stretch, in your stocking feet or bare feet. On the floor, I'm sitting on my bottom here, on my sit bones. I want a roughly 90-degree bend at my knee. I want my heels to be approximately 6 to 10 inches apart, so it can be a little bit wider, a little bit narrower, roughly 6 to 10 inches apart at the heels. Now my toes, I want them pulled back towards my knees, and I want my ankle to be coming through. So basically, if my foot is turned inward, it is the opposite. So the outside edges of my feet are turned out, so the ankles are coming through. Now, I put myself in that position. I'm not forcing myself in there hard, okay? Just place my body in that position. I could be here for a few minutes, okay? I feel okay. So that is the kind of lower body position. Now you want to be sitting up as tall as you can, like so, nice, good posture, straight back. And the upper body, what happens here, we'll put the arms in front of us, okay? And you see my thumbs face towards the ceiling. So what I've done is I've actually externally rotated my arm. This is the arm position, okay? Position for the stretch is going to be my hands above my shoulders. Now when we do the stretch, I'm not doing it right yet, when we do the stretch, okay, we're in this position and we want to actively engage the arms to push up towards the ceiling, okay? The knees, we imagine, are going towards the floor. So if I was to take my fingers and put them outside of my knees and I push my fingers, you'll see my knees, they move a little bit, the legs, and then they're stuck, okay? Because everything's in tension. We want that tension. So I'm actively pushing my knees towards the floor, and at the same time, I will be, in a few seconds, pushing up towards the ceiling. What does my head do? You want to make a double chin, just tuck your chin in, and keep the face relaxed, okay? Just relax for a second, let me talk you through. Now, some of you may have problems, maybe you got a shoulder issue, maybe you get tight shoulders. This is as far as you can go. That's perfectly okay. These stretches are always to your individual maximum, okay? A lot of people that I work with, especially when they first start doing these stretches, their spine may be like this, okay? This is as far as they can go. That's perfectly okay. As you get stronger in the stretch, as you adapt to the stretch, what I see with most people is they start here and then they start correcting themselves after 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, a week, and they build strength in their core and in the spinal stabilizer muscles as well. A good thing to use as a cue, it is helpful, as a crutch, is you can sit with a wall behind you or the door, and you can be lightly on there, not completely leaning all your weight on there, but it can be behind you to give you some support. It also helps your body tell it where it is in space, okay? So I can be here, and oh, I'm touching the wall, I want to try to be off the wall, okay? And it's a nice little cue. So feel free to use a wall, the back of a door, when you start doing the stretch. And as I said, don't be worried if your knees are up here, or if you can only get them this close together, that's okay, right? It's always your individual maximum. As long as you're creating some tension with the action of the stretch, you will get a benefit, okay? Now, hold on first for a second. When we do this stretch, it is constant tension. So what I mean by that is, when I actively push my knees down and I push my arms up towards the ceiling, okay, and I'm sitting up nice and tall, tuck my chin in, it's constant. I keep the tension on towards the ground here, and I keep pushing my arms away as if I'm trying to lift the ceiling off the building, okay? It's going to be constant tension. Do not hold your breath, okay? You want to try to relax the face, breathing, okay, breathing naturally, nice big breaths, okay? First time we do this, we're going to aim 15 to 20 seconds, all right? So let's do it together. Okay, so from the top, knees 90 degrees, heels about 6-10 inches apart, toes back towards the knees, ankles coming through, hands in front, thumbs towards the ceiling, bring them up above my arms, tuck my chin in, 3, 2, 1, push, knees to the floor, push the arms up towards the ceiling, push, push, tucking my chin in, I'm nice and tall, I'm tall, push, 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 keep pushing the knees towards the floor, pushing the arms up, pushing that ceiling off my head, keep going, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Come out of it slowly. So the first time you do that, 15 to 20 seconds, you're going to work up to a minute, okay, for optimal time under tension. It's going to be up to a minute. But start with 15 to 20 seconds. Start with 50% of your power, okay? If you jump into this and you're like, right, I'm going to do this, okay? People pull face muscles, I'm not joking. It can be sore in the shoulder because you're pulling tissue which is maybe I've never been stretched before this way. So you always want to start out with 50% of your power, Feel the stretch. Get engaged with your body, the whole mind-muscle connection. Feel the stretch itself, okay? Get comfortable in that position. After 2-3 days, you can push a little bit harder, a little bit harder. Maybe after a week, you're gonna be doing 100%, okay? So, what about time, rest, etc.? When should you do it? Okay, first time you do it, possibly after this video, 20 seconds, one time, see how you feel. You might even be, even after 20 seconds, you might be a little bit sore tomorrow, okay? Just do it one time, 2 maximum today, all right? Tomorrow, see how you feel, okay, a little bit sore, doesn't feel so bad. Try it another time, maybe this time for 30 seconds, okay? Just one time, yeah? I would take the next day off, let your body recover a little bit, and then the next day, try 35 seconds, just one time. Feels okay the next day, add on 5 seconds every day, you're up to that minute. Might take you 10 days or so to get there, okay? And at that point, if everything feels okay, you've done it for 1 minute with your 50-60% power, start to increase the power as well, okay? Take it very careful, very step-by-step progression. Now, some people start to feel relief always in a couple of days. Most people feel relief within 7 days of their potentially sciatica nerve pain, back pain, etc. Just be warned, okay, do not do these stretches first thing in the morning, okay? I would choose to do these from lunchtime onwards. They're especially good to do before bed. One time in the day, you will get some benefit, okay? People say, oh, well, if you know, if this is good, then more is better, right? The classic thing you hear, okay? Be careful. If you're not used to these stretches and you overdo it, you will, this is a bit sore here, you'll feel something here because you're pulling tissue you've never pulled or stretched before. So maximum, I would say, would be twice a day, probably leave 4 hours between each time you do it, all right? Why not in the morning? Well, typically, first thing in the morning, this is when your disc is its largest. You've been sleeping all night, gravity has not been acting upon you, you've been sleeping on your bed, okay, you're horizontal, the disc expands, fills up with water. In the morning, you're more prone to hurting your lower back region if you do have an existing injury. So that's another reason I do tell people with acute injury in the first couple months of recovery, try to avoid flexion in the first 4 hours of the day. I've got another video, it's going to pop at the end of this one, which explains a lot more about that particular subject matter. Okay, stay at the end of that and you can go and check it out. So I do advise not doing these in the first 4 hours of the day. Wait till lunchtime, mid-afternoon, do them one time and then maybe another time before you go to bed. And directly before bed, quite often help you sleep better, kind of helps set the spine a little bit, okay? So, as I said, guys, look, optimal position. Here, you're pushing up with the arms, okay, tuck my chin in, knees towards the floor. But listen, if this, if this is your max, you're like a little bent over here, if that is your maximum, that is where you start, okay? And you push from there, okay? And you'll slowly start to bring yourself up as you get stronger. And again, you can use, like I said, use the wall. It will help you to sort of realize where your spine is in space, give you some support till you start to develop that strength in the spine and core to hold yourself in that position. I use this stretch a lot, pretty much with all of my clients. It does bring amazing benefits if you stick with it, but you've got to trust the process and you've got to stick and you've got to be consistent in the work that you do. Listen, if you do have any questions about this stretch, comments, hit me up in the comment section down below. Any other questions you want to ask me personally, you can always drop me an email. It's also in the description down below. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like. I'm going to be making that announcement on the 22nd of this month, okay? Very, very soon indeed. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that one. All right, guys? Listen, have a great day, and I'll speak to you again soon.